Here are 5 ways empathy specifically impacts leadership: insight, better communication, growth, positive workplace, trust. Insight. By leading with empathy, you develop greater insight. Using the key skill of empathetic listening, you learn what others are thinking and feeling. You understand the strengths and blind spots of team members, find solutions from a broader perspective, and motivate others through your own self-awareness. In consequence, you enable yourself to guide your team more effectively. For example, I led a leadership workshop recently. Halfway through a visualization, I could see one of the participants nodding off. However, the rest of the group was fully engaged. I could have responded by calling out the sleepy participant or stopping the visualization until I caught her attention. But that would have been at the cost of the other interested participants. Empathy led me to continue as is. I knew the reason for her tiredness from an earlier discussion we had, and I knew the others were enjoying the visualization. Empathy gave me the insight into how to proceed. Better communication. As Brene Brown says, empathy builds connection. You can't help but become a better communicator as a result. The best communicators connect directly to their audience, and that's what empathetic leaders do. They discern when they're losing their audience and pivot as necessary to re-engage them. By sensing how the audience is feeling, empathetic leaders respond to that emotional energy as opposed to staying in their heads, which creates disconnection or separation from the audience. Using the insight example of the leadership workshop I conducted, had I stopped the visualization midway, I would have destroyed the emotional connection I had created through my narrative. Instead, I sensed how the audience was feeling, good, engaged, and stayed aligned to it. Growth. You will grow faster and higher using empathy to lead you. Empathy results in increased emotional intelligence. It supports a growth mindset which reinforces resilience and is closely linked to innovative behaviors like embracing new ideas and thinking creatively. Empathetic leaders encourage growth by stepping outside their comfort zones, which promotes a growth model that others can follow. For instance, I chaired the strategic planning committee for an independent school. We had an annual retreat, which I had participated in but had never led. As the strategic planning chair, I had to organize it. Previous chairs were unavailable to provide guidance, but I had access to their presentations, and there were some long-standing members of the board who had attended many strategic planning meetings. By stepping out of my comfort zone of participant and shifting to leader, I grew professionally. I showed a growth mindset by incorporating content of past retreats and then creating something new. Innovation happened by developing the retreat structure around questions instead of topics. Growth happened not just my own, but with other board members and hence the school itself. Positive workplace. Practicing empathy promotes a kinder, happier work environment. It encourages reciprocity among teammates in your organization. By demonstrating empathy, leaders give space for others to do it too, which creates a positive, virtuous cycle. Empathy fosters understanding, which transmutes into acceptance. As Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Using empathy as your foundation, you listen to understand, which results in a positive workplace. For example, I ran new hire orientations for many years. I like to imagine myself as a new hire wanting to learn what's important about the new workplace. What would I want to know? I was fully aware of Drucker's culture eats strategy for breakfast. There's official speak, and then there's the reality of how things actually get done. Empathetic leadership meant explaining to new hires what was important and how to get it done. Creating a positive workplace happened by setting up that new hire for success, not just with physical resources, but mental and emotional ones too. Trust. A person who truly listens to another and thus practices empathy engenders trust. Stay present, ask powerful questions, listen carefully to the answers, and reiterate key messages to ensure you heard what the other was saying. Following this empathetic method of communication ensures you will be seen as a trusted leader. In meetings, I use empathy regularly. I listen to what others say, ask questions for clarification when needed, and then share what I've heard. At one company I worked at, it became a joke in team meetings that eventually became a behavior that others practiced too. To this day, I still have people tell me, "You taught me, what I'm hearing you say is that what you're saying?" It works, not just in meetings as I initially used it, but when working with patients or clients too. And the result? It builds trust because the recipients feel heard.